All right, so let's do a deeper dive into the new data points coming to Token Metrics 2.0. Okay, so the first part, so we're talking about how AI is going to just completely take over the world and crypto, right? Well, we're building an AI that's really trying to take over crypto, right? Yes, it's a work in progress, but the first thing we want to do is take what we are doing before with fundamental analysis and technology and code reviews and automate that, right? So when I said we're taking people's jobs, like nobody is immune. Like even people doing code reviews, we're taking their jobs too. No offense. All right. So imagine the fundamental analysis we're doing, looking at the basically the social media, the reach, the traffic, the marketing, all that. We're trying to find ways to quantify everything and make everything purely objective, purely number based, right? Hence the name quant grade. The fundamentals part is more challenging, but that can still be done. In terms of the metrics we're looking at here, basically we can factor in such as are they on our well-known exchange, right? So if a project gets added on Coinbase, it's a pretty legit project, right? Because they've kind of basically passed the test for Coinbase, right? Do they have any fiat on ramps or pairs, web traffic, the size of the community, mainstream media? Are they in the press, right? Have they been talked about on Wall Street Journal, Forbes, right? All that. Trading volume, total supply, how many tokens are being burned? Are they inflationary, deflationary? Supply, right? So that part falls under fundamentals, and the goal is to make that purely objective. Then here comes the part I haven't talked about, and this part, oh man, oh man. I mean, this part is also a game changer. I mean, this is why I love working for Token Metrics. So we're building an AI that can go. So let me take a step back, right? So I talked about we're going from 500 coins to 6,000 next month. And then for Token Metrics 2.0, we will have an AI, a machine learning model that can go to all these probably not 6,000, to any project on CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap that has an open source GitHub repository that's publicly available, and it will download their code into our servers, and we'll do automated code analysis and review. What does that mean? So imagine, so the code reviews that developers are doing, right, going through the code, that takes time, right? We've come up with a way to automate that. So we can download all these projects' code from GitHub into our servers on AWS and test the code for vulnerabilities, for securities and holes, right? To see if it can be hacked, to see how good the commenting is, the documentation, all kinds of things, right? So some of the things we're looking at in terms of, and all these are quantifiable. There's no human bias, right? These are just facts, right? So the data points we'll be looking at will be number of lines of code, commits per month, active developers, how well is the code commented, the developer's history, number of stars, forks on the repository, pull requests, closed issues, opened by other developers, vulnerabilities, code smells. I mean, looking at this, we have about 20 data points just on code. And the AI will do all of this, right? So, and whenever there are new updates in the code, it will download that code into our servers and it will do AI on it, right? So in a way, it's kind of doing not quite an audit, but I guess you could call it an audit. We've basically built an AI that can audit code, right? Well, actually, it's not, it's basically looking at the numbers and then finding the weights, backwards testing them to find out what matters, right? So we think that's going to be huge, right? So you'll never have to do a code review ever again with the new token metrics. I mean, just think about it. We're basically layering in new improvements, right? Never having to do code reviews ever again, never having to do TA ever again. I mean, you could if you want to, right? But you don't have to be a developer expert to do code reviews anymore, because our platform will do it for you, right? Then the next data points we're adding on-chain data. So data from Bitcoin, Bitcoin's blockchain, data from Ethereum's blockchain, data from ERC20 tokens, data from DeFi and DEXs, right? Total value locked. So all that data on DeFi pools, all that, we would like to add that to our platform and have the AI take care of all that, right? So the AI is just going to gather, at this point, almost 1,000, maybe even over 1,000 data points, and it goes through all that data, and it tells us what actually matters, and it builds a grade based off of that, right? So this is literally the, like it knows everything. Like the AI is kind of like the all-seeing, all-knowing AI for crypto. Yeah, I think somebody's saying goosebumps. Yeah, that does give us goosebumps, right? I mean, that's going to be huge. I mean, so that's why I've been working. Our team has been grinding, but that's the future. I mean, AI is the future. Being able to do code reviews, TA, investment reports, all that. I mean, that's the vision. That's where we're trying to take Token Metrics. So that's the on-chain data. We want to add staking data, staking rewards, right? We also want to add data from other markets, from the Fed and Treasury. Whenever they print money, the AI will know and put that into its analysis. Futures contracts, so getting other markets, so US markets, European markets, global markets, right? Commodities, all that data will be factored in. Bonds data, right? US bonds, corporate bonds, because that does factor in. As you guys have seen, Bill does look at corporate bonds and yield. Housing data, being able to look at mortgage rates, sale prices for homes. I mean, maybe the AI can figure out that, hey, when housing data goes down or up, that usually means a recession in equities, which could mean crypto goes up. Who knows, right? The AI will have that data and will let us know if that matters. Commodities, I mentioned S&P data, right? Global economic data, such as we have stock prices, Big Mac index for different countries around the world, import-export data, NASDAQ indices, sentiment I talked about, but also different economic sentiment surveys, right? Like there's an investors sentiment survey. There's also a survey from University of Michigan on consumers, right? Such as the consumer index, hedge fund data, and indices. So all this is going to be added in Token Metrics 2.0, and the AI is going to figure this out, right? And hopefully make all of us a boatload of money, right? But yeah, that's what we're working on. And I mean, all I can say is
We just landed on the moon in the Lambo.
right. So let me see here. Let me get to the comments. Token Metrics 2.0 will be huge. I got no doubts about it. For sure, one of my 2021 picks. Thank you. Appreciate it. Is that Tommy? Literally to the moon and beyond. Okay, Abraham, you saying you have a question about your subscription? So the comments are going so fast, and it won't let me see all the comments because this has been, I think, almost 4-hour live stream or 3-hour live stream. James says you won't need humans anymore. Yeah, I mean it sucks, but that's the future, unfortunately, right? Like, so imagine that world. Imagine a world where we don't need humans to do investment analysis, right? Imagine an AI. I mean, hence the term robo-advisor, right? That's a common word, but imagine, what does that actually look like? What does a robo-advisor look like that can trade for you, do code reviews for you, do investment analysis and reports for you? What does that look like? looks like token metrics, not financial advice. All right. But we have to build that world because it's coming, right? And somebody has to do it for crypto. So that's definitely the future. All right. But yeah, so tell us what you think, or tell me what you think down below. Let me know. Do you like that world? I mean, I know I sure do. Right. Whatever makes us, whatever takes us to the moon and beyond. That's the mindset.